This video is about the first phase of the French Revolution. In the years 1789, 90 and 91, France was transformed from an absolutist monarchy into a constitutional monarchy. The shining person was the Bastille, but to mention is also the French king Louis XVI. To the background. And the French Revolution is perfect to understand. That revolution always needs 2 or 3 causes. 2 or 3 depends on your categorization. First, the ideological basis of the French Revolution. You have to see this in the movement of enlightenment. The philosophers back in the day, they questioned the legitimacy of absolutism and they brought in ideas of participation of the people and division of powers. Furthermore, France not too long ago supported the American Revolution, and there it is no wonder that democratic or republican ideas spread over from the New World to Europe. The political causes, more or less very simple. France was bankrupt, if you will. The state was crippled because of large public debts and a budget deficit. The king saw himself as absolutist ruler. He saw the divine rights of kings. The first and second estates, so clergy and nobles, they blockaded reforms because they wanted to secure their privileges. The well-educated part of the third estate, they wanted to have more political influence. And now, the economic causes you always need for a revolution. The upper stratums of the third estate, they were doing economically well, but they wanted to extend their economic activities. Whilst the lower parts, the lower stratums of the third estate, they just wanted to survive. Food was really expensive, especially bread. As mentioned, the French state was crippled, financially crippled, so the king, after a long time, assembles the States General. They came together on the 5th of May, 1789. To explain, the States General, 3 estates. First estate clergy, second estate nobles, and then the third estate, the common people. Each estate voted on their own, and then they brought each one vote in. Meaning the clergy and nobles will always prevail, will always have the majority. And the third estate, they had some demands. As mentioned before, the peasants, the poor people, they wanted to gain some sort of relief regarding taxes and other duties. The better educated class, they wanted to establish a constitutional monarchy modeled after the monarchy in England or Great Britain. Led by the Bastilles, the third estate declared itself to be the National Assembly, and quite rightly, because they were representing 96% of the French people. A few nobles and the clergy joined them, but the king was not happy with it. He tried to dissolve the National Assembly, especially when they started to work on a constitution. However, he failed, and then on the 27th of June, he ordered the first 2 estates to join the National Assembly. Then the situation in Paris escalated. The food prices went up. The king ordered troops to Paris, and he released the Minister of Finance, Necker, who was well popular within the population. So the common people armed themselves and formed the later National Guard. And now the probably most shining element of the French Revolution, the storming of the Bastille. From a military point of view, not too important, but it was shining as mentioned, and now there was a push in the revolution. The revolutionaries could take control of Paris and other French cities, but it has to be mentioned there were atrocities against monasteries and castles. The National Assembly abolished feudalism and they declared the rights of man and the citizen. And in the historical context, probably the most important thing is their statement, men are born and remain free and equal in rights. The king was not happy with all of this and he delayed signing the decrees of the National Assembly. And now there are a few thousand women who were also annoyed with the actions of the king. They marched to Versailles and forced the king to sign the decrees. And more, they brought the king back in a triumphal march to Paris And now it's clear, absolutism is broken, the power, the might of absolutism is broken. So the National Assembly could reform the country, and this phase ends with the constitution, with France becoming a constitutional monarchy, 3rd of September 1791. This constitution, or having a constitution now for the first time, means the king is bound to the constitution and the people have guaranteed rights. Important, as mentioned before, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, which are fundamental to this day for our understanding of society and politics. Now, absolutism was definitely gone, but it has to be mentioned that the first phase of the revolution laid the foundation for the more radical second phase of the French Revolution. That was the first phase of the French Revolution in 5.